Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rather than turn in my comments for the record, is there any way I could have Representative Saccone deliver my remarks?
I presume that's a rhetorical question.
Yes, sir. I'd like to get those 20 seconds back, though. I rise in opposition, Mr. Speaker, and I want to tell you why I rise in opposition. I guess the best way to do that is to give you a real live example of the impact that this budget's going to have on a school district in my district. And we heard a prior speaker from the other side of the aisle talk about the cuts per student. And one of my schools has a cut of $1.2 million in the upcoming year, and it's $353 per student. That's certainly a lot more than was referenced to my majority leader's school district. They just built a $100 million new school and renovated a middle school. Yet, Mr. Speaker, they did a press release on June 27th, and let me just read that. Real estate tax bills in Moon area will stay the same as school directors opted to not levy a .34 mil tax increase for which the district qualified under the State Taxpayer Relief Act, or Act 1. Moon area's millage rate will remain at 21.3 mils, the 14th lowest of 42 county school districts in 2010-2011. The 2011-12 budget marks a 3.6% decrease from this year's spending plan, which totaled almost $60 million and represented a 0.1% increase over the 2009-2010 budget. Employee benefit costs were raised 53.4% due to increased district contributions. Moon area's spending plan for the next school year includes Microsoft Windows update, new computer science and business education classes, and minimal spending in building repairs and costs for the energy-efficient new Moon area high school. Mr. Speaker, the reason I rise in opposition to the comments made on the other side of the aisle is because that it is possible to implement this budget, build new school buildings, add new programs to schools, and educate our students. And how do they do that? Well, Mr. Speaker, in 2009, the Senate leadership sent a letter out to all school superintendents. This is in 2009, March of 2009. Since Governor Rendell announced his 2009-2010 budget proposal on February 4th, the federal government has enacted the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, which includes a significant amount of funding for education. However, we urge you to take a very cautious approach to preparing your 2009-2010 budgets, since the depth of the Commonwealth's budget shortfall and the impact of the stimulus monies are still not fully known. In fact, provisions of the Pennsylvania Constitution and existing statutory law require the General Assembly to appropriate any funds received from the federal government. This is a time for every governmental agency, including school districts. This is a time for every governmental agency, entity, including school districts, to hold the line on spending and to continue looking for ways to cut spending and avoid imposing tax increases on hardworking Pennsylvania families. Mr. Speaker, this same letter in similar context was sent out again in June of 2009 and again in June of 2010 as school districts prepared for their budgets. Mr. Speaker, I think it's critical that if your school districts that you've cited are going to raise taxes, that you ask them why. Why could it be done in another school district where you build a new building, build a new high school, and renovate a middle school, add new programs, and not raise taxes? In fact, not even take the increase that's permitted by the exceptions. Don't sit here and whine and complain. Go back home and challenge them. This is a teachable moment for all of our students. All of our students on how to live within your means and not become whiners. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Vote yes.